It's the fourth day of 2025. I feel a lot better than I was when this year started because I let a lot of things pile on and I felt like I needed to process a lot of things and reflect on the last year. But I was also very overwhelmed because I couldn't begin to think of all the things that happened to me this past year, even though not a lot happened because not very much happens to me generally. But I just felt like I was behind on my own lore, which I don't like because I like to remember everything that happened to me. Hence, I have this new obsession or like compulsion to remember, to write down everything that happened to me, which I don't because I don't like to write about what happened during the day. I just feel that that's very tiring and I just write when I feel like I can't go on with my day, and so I write about what's stopping me, what's bothering me, or what I can do to help myself. But there were still some things from the past year that I felt like I would like to remember. And it's also I realized that I journal a lot, but the last few months I completely stopped because I don't know, I just like I was writing my morning pages where morning pages is like something that you do the first thing when you get up in the morning and you write down everything that's on your mind. It's like a conscious stream of thoughts. You can write down anything you want, anything. You can even write down, I don't know what to write. I don't know what to write. So that's basically you need to write, I think, 3 or 5 pages every morning. I write down however much I want to that day. But so yeah, I've been doing that. Now I'm still not very good at journaling. By good I mean I'm still not reaping its benefits because I'm not consistent, and I'm still finding it hard to be honest with myself because sometimes I would think that, oh, I had this day and I would like to write about it, but when I sit down to write about it, I just feel like I don't I just feel like it's tiring to go through that experience again by writing it down. Sometimes I feel like it's not important enough for me to remember what happened, although I would like to remember it. So that's just something weird that I've been noticing with myself, which I want to change because I feel like I'm still performing sometimes for my journal, which is not what I want from this. Anyways, I did not want to start my year with a messy room and without writing everything that I wanted to write. But I did end up doing that. But I did clean my room. I cleaned it day before yesterday, and then I spent all of yesterday writing things down. But it wasn't as helpful as I thought it would be because these things happened over a period of 2 or 3 months. I was already over it before I even started writing about them, and so I started discounting my feelings or started distorting the facts like because I was lazy to write them down, which was bound to happen, which is why I think it's very important to write down things when they happened, to remember it exactly how it happened if you want that, and I want that. So I'm sounding like there's something big that happened with me, which is not true because I'm just talking about like the first shoot that I did for my brand. I wanted to write about that because I want to remember everything that I did right and everything that I did wrong so that I can look back on it when I'm doing the next shoots, you know? And which I think would have been so much helpful if I had written it down on the day off, but I didn't. So now it's just, although I remember everything, but I'm too lazy to write all of it down because it's not as fresh now, and I just like don't care anymore. Anyways, I said all of that just to say that I wanted to show you my journals, and I have quite a few because I don't like I get uneasy just thinking of mixing everything, so I like to keep everything separate. This is the main guy, it's very big. I got it from I saw this first when I went to Chandni Chowk with my sister, and she wouldn't let me get it because it's genuine leather, and I was like, I know, but I really wanted, but she wouldn't let me get it, so I didn't get it then. But I came back home and I couldn't stop thinking about it, so I think I went the next day or a few days later all the way to Chandni Chowk alone to get this, and I'm really happy that I did because there's just something about it. I love the paper. I have a lot of journals, but this is my favorite. This is where I'm at right now. This isn't actually a bookmark. It used to be a necklace that I never wore, and now it's just perfect. I love when things like this happen because this was very, very old, the necklace, and it had no significance in my life whatsoever. I was starting to forget about it, but then I randomly saw it one day in one of my drawers, and I was like, oh, that's just perfect. My sister makes fun of me sometimes because when I get a new hobby, I tend to go overboard and buy a lot of things related to the hobby, and then sometimes I never end up using them, but eventually everything ends up working out, and I would rather start that hobby even though I'm wasting a lot of money on it, because it's not actually going to waste. It's always with me, everything is with me, and I could be okay, stop. But I would rather start that hobby even though I'm not following through than thinking, like, already discouraging myself by not even starting just because I think I might not follow through, because that's just not I just keep collecting hobbies because I get to learn a lot from it, even though I don't include that in my life, even though I don't make it a part of my life or a part of my identity, because I could in the future, so anyways. See, now it's almost 1 p.m. I haven't written my morning pages because I wanted to talk about writing my morning pages. This is what happens to me. And I have to cook lunch, and I haven't brushed my teeth or washed my face. I have not started my day because I wanted to film about how I start my day. Okay, so I'm going to first start my day, then I'm going to. Okay, so I washed my face and no breakfast, but I'm just going to make lunch now. This is really good lighting. I actually got from the last video, when I watched it on my phone it was fine, but when I watched it on my laptop it was like, why is my skin looking so good? I was aware that it was good lighting, but I wasn't aware how good it was. So I got a lot of, oh, your skin looks so good from that video, and I was like, no, my skin is not bad, but it's not as good as it looks right now or in that video. It's actually breaking out right now. Can you see? It actually gets very red and it's breaking out right now for some reason. It's not actually pimples, but just like bumps, tiny red bumps. I don't know why. Today I'm going to make fried rice with mutton, and I have some sausages, and I wrote about it in my journal that I was going to cook that, because if I don't, I get decision fatigue. If I don't decide what I'm going to cook way beforehand, I get really anxious. So yeah, I'm going to cook. I think I'm telling you too much. Fucking laptop is out of battery. Oh, pretty much anyone was trying to look for a longer life, smiling on the inside, taking back all the pieces of me, taking unwillingly, I'm offering myself up to the heavens on what I've been given, I'm winning back. Touching your hand, I'm picking myself up off the carpet. I'm running my hands over my body. light a candle. So I'm back. I had my lunch and then I was watching something, but then I remembered I had to film this. So I think I was talking about this one. This did not look like this when I bought it. It was just plain, and then I added the buttons and I just did some things to it. I also sanded it a bit. I just wanted it to look old. It already looked old, but I wanted to keep that vibe. I realized that I don't like to write on paper that's very crisp and new, which is why I really like this, because the paper here just feels very old and inviting. I don't know, there's something about it. I also have this one which is quite similar to this, but then it's obviously not the same thing because this is not actual leather, and this portion here was giving me the ick for the longest time. But I think the pages here, I think the pages here are nicer than the ones here, because these are more soft and yeah. Anyways, I stopped using this one when I got this, but I will still use this because the paper is really nice. This was supposed to be my commonplace book. If you don't know what that is, it was supposed to be a book where you write down everything that you see in your surroundings, something that you find interesting, quotes that you like, your ideas, your interests, everything. And it's supposed to be something that you can just leave around anywhere, and something that you're okay for people to read, I think, basically. But it's not that anymore because I journal here now. I usually like to follow prompts for my daily entries. That's what I've been doing recently, but I just used to write down whenever I wanted to, whenever I felt heavy or whenever I wanted to write anything before I started writing morning pages. But now that I'm doing morning pages, I'm only writing prompt-based entries here. Right now this sounds a lot more structured and organized than it is actually, but that's just what it's for, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that I'm properly following whatever this is for, but that's what it's for. Next, I have this notebook where I write my morning pages. It's just very simple. I added a button last night because I was bored. And I got this from Daryaganj. It was 30 rupees. And I really love this because, like I said, I don't like writing on pages that feel very new. And I think this is recycled paper, and this is just feels cheap almost because the paper is very thin, so it's just very nice to write on. I just really like the sensation of pen on paper, to be honest, which is why I really like journaling as well. And I also kind of like my own handwriting. So I don't know, there's just something about it that scratches my brain in the right way, and nothing else can replace it. It's just like, maybe it's weird, but I really like looking at my own handwriting. And when I really like the feeling when I fill a lot of pages, and I like to go through it. I don't read it because this is just dumb. This is just brain dumb. But when I look at it, when I feel it, I don't know, I'm just weird. I also like to smell paper a lot. This does not smell like anything. But I'm sad that I'm almost running out of it, and I went to Daryaganj last time, but I could not find this again. Maybe I didn't look hard enough, but I don't know where else to get this. This is the same notebook but just in a different color. It says Commonplace Book 2, but I use this to write down all my ideas for my clothing brand. I haven't really used as much of it, and this is plain pages. I think I prefer plain paper over ruled pages. This is the next one. I got this from Miniso a few months back, and when I got this, I wasn't sure what I was going to use this for. I just got it because it was cute. But last night I finally figured out what I was going to do with it, and that is, I'm going to use this to record or track all my days. So it's just going to say a date, and then it's going to be my days wrapped up in just a sentence so that I can look back to see just what happened. Like it's going to be, I wrote down 1st January and then I'm finding it hard to explain the highlight of my day, but in just a sentence or two, so that if I want to look back to a particular day of a particular month, I wouldn't have to read 2-3 pages that's going to be in this book. So this is just going to be, I hope you get what I'm saying, right? I think it's evident from all my journals that this year I'm really trying to focus on tracking my life. Basically, I really want to remember as much as I can, because I have a very weird sense of time where I keep forgetting what happened where, and when I try to think back on something, I remember what happened, but I don't remember when that happened, like what month that happened or even what year. And I also really would like to track my habits or things in general. Like for instance, I think I get headaches really often, but I can't know for a fact, because I might be thinking that I'm getting headaches every other day, but I actually can't know for a fact how often it is, because it might not be happening as often as I think it is, or it might be happening more often than I think it is. So I just want to be sure, which is why I made this habit tracker. It was just, I found this layout on Canva and then I edited it a bit and filled it out and printed it out. And it's just for some habits that I wanted to track, like how many times a month am I having 3 meals a day, and how many times am I doing skincare twice, how many times am I going out, and how many times I'm feeling pretty when I go out, how much junk I'm eating, how consistent I am with my journal entries, with reading. So yeah, it's just things like that that I wanted to track, and I hope I keep up with that. Then I have this cute little notepad where I write down my to-do lists for the day. It's just very convenient to have this out and open like this, and I am sounding like a freak right now with all these journals and all these lists and all these rules, but I don't actually follow all of it. That's not the point of me doing all this. I don't put a lot of pressure on myself, or I'm not very strict on taking all of it throughout the day. It's just I make this at the start of the day so that I don't have to think about it. Even if my day involves doing simple tasks, I sometimes get overstimulated very easily, so I found that making lists really helps me so that I can at least get it off my head. I obviously don't get sad or disappointed if I don't tick all of it. Most times I even forget that I made a list, but like I said, it's just to make me feel better at the start of the day. That's mostly all of the journals that I do use. Then I have this one which I made myself. This is also for recording stuff for my brand, but this is the more official version of this one. This I immediately write down whenever I get new ideas. So this is like a rough version for this one. This is where the more official things go, like the measurements, the samples, everything. I write it down here. This is another one. This was from back when I was not journaling as much, but I was making planner entries. So I used to make really cute entries every day so that it would motivate me to actually finish the tasks, and it was actually really helpful. And again, like I said, it wasn't very much about finishing the tasks. It was about the experience, it was really fun. But yeah, I did it for a few months. I finished this one and then I made this one. This I actually really like. I made it out of scraps of fabrics that I already had. Oh, these were from 2023. So I filled a few pages and then I got over the whole coloring and sticker thing, because it was taking a lot of time, and so I just do this. But look at how cute these entries are. And it just used to give me so much joy, and the markers that I was using were also really good. I honestly want to start doing it again. Maybe I could do it whenever I have time. I think that's almost all my journals, and then I have this one. This is completely new. I don't know what I'm going to use this for. I got this a long time back. I also got this recently. It's supposed to be a sketchbook, but I thought I would use this as like a reading journal. Speaking of which, I already have a reading journal, so I might as well show it to you. I had to change locations because it got really dark, but this is my reading journal. I think I might have shown this in an older video, but this is from the Clockwork Reader on YouTube. I used to follow her, and she customized this whole reading journal, but unfortunately I only used it for a couple of books, and then I also printed out pictures of a lot of books that I read, and then I got bored. Then I also found this journal which I used for writing 10 things I'm grateful for every day. But this is quite old and I don't use it anymore. I know all of this might be coming off as a bit much or out of touch maybe, but I actually think journaling can be very beneficial if you use it correctly and if you're consistent with it. Because there have been a lot of instances where I'm feeling a bit stuck on something, and I don't like to talk about my problems with other people when I'm having them, because I can't listen to other people anyways. I will only do what I think is right, so I don't like to talk about. I obviously do talk about it with my sisters, but when something is happening, I like to think it through first, and then I talk about it with people. I'm honestly surprised with how helpful it can be sometimes, even when I'm not being consistent, because whenever I'm thinking, it's one thought leads to another thought, and it just makes a mess of something that was a small thing to start with. But when you write it down, you kind of slow your thinking, and it actually helps you to gain a different perspective on the thing you were writing about. And then I then realized that this was why was I worried about it in the first place, because it was something so small, so simple. But when you're worried about something, say you are nervous about doing something, nervous about an event or anything that's coming up, that's when that's when I write the most, because I'm a very anxious person and I'm not very social, I would say. So whenever I make plans and whenever I have to meet someone or do anything, it's very difficult for me. The point to all of this is to say that because it's the beginning of a new year, I really hope that you give journaling a try, because it's just for fun, Just pick up any notebook and a pen and start writing and see how it makes you feel. If it's not for you, then it's not for you. But also know that it's not supposed to come to you very easily. It's a habit that you need to build. You need to put efforts into building this habit, and then you can reap its benefits, which are manifold. Like, there are a lot of videos that can convince you better than me on why you should be journaling. But more than anything, I just don't want to. I don't know why. It's just I've been very scared recently of forgetting everything that has happened to me, which is why I journal. But mm, I thought I was.